Hola and welcome to Monday Night Fire Shrike. When we last left off, our protagonists they were in a bunch of different places and there was a lot of things going on. But I think what we're going to start with is we're going to start in the Marixa Republic, and we're going to start back at the dinner party where we find Twinkle and Xander and Iski and Bazik, who look incredibly awkward here, and whoever else you might have brought with you to this event. And Arturo Aramal III has been kind of hanging out with you and has introduced you to Atomic Frickson, and Special Agent Mistel Reffel, or
Miss Methel.
Ristel Meffel.
Yes.
Yeah, had to think about that
Yeah,
for a
with
second.
some muffle. Just a mess.
Special Agent Ristel Meffel followed a hobgoblin out of the party that had been previously talking to Atomic Frickson, and you're kind of standing there. Atomic has kind of been sort of listening to what you have to say as to what you're doing and whatnot. Um, that as to like, because you were talking to him about like, um, you were kind of talking around the edges, and I think Meffel had just left, and you were kind of in that point where it was like, so Aramal, you're says this guy here, he says your friend here said was your intern. What do you do now?
Well, currently I am working as a captain for. I'm sure you've heard the name Zai Volvetto.
He goes, yeah, I have. Actually, the name comes up quite a bit in conversation of current. There's been a number of, let's just say it's I've I've recently met with a few people that were operating out of Patella.
That's good to hear. Hopefully, it continues to be fruitful. While we're on that thought, another person you've worked with asked me to give you this. I'm giving
Oh,
Vesa.
replay.
What kind of message did you record for Tomic?
It's gonna go, what up, Tomic? It's Vesa. How you been? Dude, I've got some guys coming in. They need some help. I know you're the guy. You're the one. So good to see you. 194.
Yeah, I think he chuckles at this and he goes, you know, she goes, I haven't seen her in a long time. Last time I talked to her family was they were working in mining. I think they had some businesses to do with that had to do with mining, and she was the only one at the party that well, that could realistically, well, hold a conversation that didn't feel like you. Like you know how these events are. Everybody's got to have some angle. Everybody's got to be working on trying to some politics or some business deal. This is anyway. This is but if Vasa says you're all right, I guess it couldn't hurt to listen to what you're saying. Especially given the pedigree of your ties to Volvetto as well.
Well, I'm
Certainly wouldn't
actually
want to
kind
make
of
an
here
enemy.
on behalf of Volvetto. I was curious if you could shed some light on a situation here, as well as maybe a clue as to where to start looking next.
Well, I mean, maybe if I can find, maybe if I might know a few people that might be able to turn a few things up. You never know. You hear a lot of things when you're a trader. You spend a lot of time talking to a lot of people. What specifically were you trying to figure out?
We're looking for. One sec. Uh, sorry. We are looking for some information on something called the Sifter. Does
The
that name
sifter.
ring a bell?
Not really. You have to give me a little bit more to work with here. I'm assuming you're not just meaning some regular kitchen instrument here.
Well, of
No,
course.
it changes the multiverse.
All right. It probably
Yeah.
turned to Xander at that point. Well, Xander, take it away.
He's just he's like, go on then. You got my attention.
Explain it to him, Xander.
Well, it's this rare artifact that's like ancient as all get out, and you can't just take this device and just start having fun with destroying the multiverse or altering it into your own image like they've already tried to already, because things go a little.
Who's trying to?
I'm not 100% sure on that one.
It would be the Dominion of the Black.
Oh yeah, it's the black people, Dominion, some
Whoa.
black people,
Yeah. You want to rephrase?
Dominion black something. I don't know.
Yeah. And this is probably Bazik and Isaki are very close into. Like, their agents are everywhere. They
Yeah.
they have been one step ahead.
Yeah, but they don't have the code yet, so they're kind of half-ass using the device. We need the code so that we can properly utilize the thing correctly to put the multiverse back in order. Yeah, put it back in order.
He's like, he kind of looks at you, goes, and he kind of lets out like a low whistle, and he's just like, "Yeah, you're kind of that's some pretty deep end stuff right there." And he looks at Arturo and Arrow, and he kind of nods and he goes, "I dare say, boy, you have gotten yourself into one hell of a mystery. Actually, probably 9 hells of a mystery, given the sound of it."
Chinkies.
Yeah,
And
and honestly, we're hoping to come out on the other side not visiting any of those.
he's like, and I think uh, I think Aramal probably looks at you, Arturo Aramal probably looks at you for a minute. He goes, I told them, and they wouldn't listen to me.
Who's they?
And he nods. He kind of shakes his head. He's like, "Oh, it's not important. There are people that there are people who have doubted you in the past. We'll just leave it at that." He says, and
Oh, don't need to put any words out there. I already know who you're talking about.
he's like, he goes, he shrugs, and he kind of shrugs, and he's just like, you know, he goes, you might not. He says, and you might actually believe you know this. He says, and he kind of chuckles and gives you a wink, like he's like messing with you. Give me a sense motive here.
Can do.
And Xander, you can give one too since you're standing there. And
Oh.
I'll probably want to make one for Bazik and Isaki.
Twinkle, get out of the way of
Do
the
you
good
want me to make
ladies
one
and
as
gentlemen.
Zafura?
There we go.
Sure. If Zafura is there.
I never left. Remember, I'm wearing a dress that
What's her
matches
last
Twinkle's
name?
armor.
Is it
Zafura is
Zarafa?
her last name.
Okay, because it's.
I guess you're right. I've been saying Zafura. Zarafa. Yeah.
Okay, no worries.
Mahala Zarafa. It means a bouquet of flowers.
Wow, that was bad.
Well,
No, I'm talking about the sense motive.
oh.
Alright, so Xander got an 18. Bazik is completely clueless, which makes sense. Twinkle, Isaki,
I don't know anything.
and Mahala. Nope. So I think Twinkle and you probably realize that Isaki catches this too. Everybody else seems oblivious, and you almost think maybe you're just imagining things, but Isaki, you see a suspicious look on Isaki's face as well. He's he's playing this off. You can tell that there's something he's not talking about, but it doesn't seem to be a malicious intent of any kind. It's just something that he's just not, and you can tell that it's not something that you're going to, given the fact that he's already deflected off of it and continues to do so, he'll probably continue this pattern um, if you continue to pursue the line of questioning. But there's something, there is a little something there that like he's not saying.
Arturo, you are a man of many words, and also of many secrets.
And he kind of smiles at this and he goes, my dear boy, that is how you become a legend. If they can explain everything about your exploits, then there's no mystery. You're not a legend, you're simply a mortal who's accomplished a few things.
Maybe Twinkle
However,
repeats that. Maybe Twinkle repeats that with him. A mortal who's accomplished things, because he's heard that over and over again.
right? He just- yeah, your time in your time in Glumpucket, you probably heard him say it a few times. Seems to be his mantra. It's just like, but he says, this is indeed a bit of a worthy mystery. He says, he says, I would almost take this on myself, except for the fact that it appears that you have claimed this mystery. He go, and he goes, I look forward to hearing about the legend of how you solve this.
Well, I look forward to hopefully solving this. Let's get there first, huh?
And yeah, he's like, oh, I have every confidence that you will succeed. After all, you learned from me. And he kind of chuckles at this too. That's sort
Yeah.
of like, yeah, yeah. People like this tend to be full of themselves, often
Oh, of
for good
course.
reason, but they're full of themselves. So,
Sure.
um,
But, so, yeah. I think that line of questioning has just kind of died off here.
yeah,
One more, yeah. One more line of questioning for our friend Tomic, though.
he's like,
Well, go ahead.
no, you go ahead.
Well, that being the case, whatever information we do or don't find, I'm betting we're going to need access to a certain sector that is currently in hot dispute with the locals.
He
Maybe
says,
you could shine some light on that and point me the way to the yellow brick road.
Arturo says, well, I might be able to help you get passage, get a special permission to get passage into the system. You'll you'll probably want to the council members the senators you were talking to before. I fully believe that what was it Kirkesh? I fully believe that Imra would support giving you special dispensation, Senator Torin, and you might be able to convince Smeddy to back your to support this request as well. Between the two of them, they should have enough political capital to give you a bit of a give you a bit of aid. He says, he says you'll need to talk to both of them yourself, and after all, they already owe me. I already owe Smeddy a favor, and I'm rather loath to add any more favors to that list at this particular point in time. I'm waiting for him to spring for the one I already owe him. Eh,
Know that feeling.
Torin, you probably shouldn't have a trouble convincing.
Yeah, all we gotta tell him is it deals with the fate of the multiverse.
And then they laugh us out of Parliament. Great. You know,
If you
Unless
can,
you have proof behind it, we get enough research and we have documentation and be like, hey, we need to go here to further develop this research, you're gonna let us fucking through, or the whole world's gonna existence is gonna die.
Xander, well, I believe you. The average person is going to think that you're a nut job.
Let's be honest, even if we did convince the people behind the politicians that this was real, getting 100 politicians in a room to agree that this is real, or even 51 of them to agree this is real, is that's a feat in and of itself. Is
No,
Tomek
no, no.
still here?
Yeah, Tomek is still here, and he's like, but Arturo's like, no, 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 you don't understand. Something like this will be kicked back to a subcommittee that will be kicked back to subcommittee that is in charge of these sorts of things, and probably go through the military as well. Fortunately, your three senators that I introduced you to are on that committee. Any two of them should be able to bring enough political weight to push through a license or special dispensation. Your Torin will be the easy sell. Smetty will be a little bit harder, but possible. And if you can get Kirkesh Felev on your side, well, then you'll have that a done deal one way or the other. But he'll be the hardest sell of them all. He's rather cynical, that one.
But
Hey.
he's yeah.
I have to go AFK for a minute, but the stream's still going, and I'll be right back.
Okay. All right. He's like, he's like, um, he's like, if you can get if you can get two out of the three of them, you should be able to get it passed. Get the dispensation. Get all three. It's a lock. And Tomic probably pipes up at this. He goes, "You're still not gonna want to go in there blind. If you're going to if I'm right, you're going to the system that they just shut access to off.
Yes.
Happen to know a few things about that. You're going to want somebody who knows the area and somebody who's not going to have a particular agenda.
Do you have
That
any
hobgoblin,
suggestions?
as a matter of
Uh
fact, I do.
okay.
The hobgoblin you saw walk off that our friend Agent Meffel was so interested in,
Immediately, Twinkle puts a hand to his head. Don't tell me.
he's a mercenary.
Uh, and
His
he's
name,
I
now in
thought he was going to
trouble with
suggest
Ristel.
Arturo.
Oh, fuck.
hmm?
I thought you were going or he was going to suggest Arturo.
Nope, he goes, Arturo's got other political responsibilities,
Yeah.
political
Right,
and
but it also
financial.
seems
Yeah.
like the kind of adventure he'd blow everything else off to go on.
Uh,
But I
well, he
understand.
just.
It's
I
not
was gonna
story.
say he just explained that he's stepping off because he feels like this is Twinkle's
Yeah.
deal here. Like
Mm.
he's not gonna try to big time Twinkle here. He actually likes him. So
Yeah.
he but I think Tomic Frickson continues by saying, well,
The hell?
that mercenary, his name is Gridge, and he's got a small unit that he commands. They operate as mercenaries. They work for either side depending on the day. Mostly they've been working for the Marixa Republic. You can
And our
understand
best
why Meffel doesn't like him.
and our best chance to get him on his good side just walked out the door 5 minutes ago.
He'll be in port. I can probably arrange a meeting. In fact, I can give him your number or give you his number, whichever you're more comfortable with.
Me with his number would probably be better.
Gridge and his grunts are pretty reliable. They're professionals. They pride themselves on just doing the job, no questions.
Well, that's really good. And probably looking at Mahala, we'll probably need to mention it to them sooner or later so they don't take off while we're still around here. Sounds like we're going to be here a few days at least.
It's
This is
like,
bureaucracy, a few weeks.
and I think Arturo, probably is like, kind of like, sees somebody he knows, and he's like, "Oh, I'm, uh, I'm, I'll get a hold of you a little bit later. I believe I have something I need to take care of here. And he's like, ah, he's like, Fash, long time no see. And he goes and
Excuse
he
me?
walks off.
Excuse me, Sean? No, no, no. No, 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 no. You can't just go. You can't just say that and then. No. Okay, whatever. It's
Yep,
fine. It's
yep.
fine.
It's not that fast.
Don't you eat Chris? He lives in my
Nope,
mind, okay?
nope.
I love you
There is
too.
totally, nope. There is totally a gnome with a wide-brimmed hat standing across the room, holding court, talking to a bunch of people.
Oh, that's
God
rude.
damn it.
So
I'm upset.
Gunner the player is raising his hand here. What just happened?
It's an inside thing from another campaign that happened. Just
Yeah.
imagine just walked in the room in a different universe.
Perfect. Okay. Oh, so you
Yeah,
mean like
so
Sisterhood of the Traveling Spoon that's currently going on?
Kind
Uh,
of,
there's
except
but
there
more causality.
Bash is
yeah,
loved by someone.
there is but
Thoroughly.
yeah, he kind of turns to go, talk to this gnome who recognizes him, and the two of them do that thing across the crowd. They're like, hey, waving and like, we gotta, the
Yeah.
being excited to see each other.
Probably
But
turn back
there's
to Tomic and remark, I don't know how that man keeps all of these names in his head. And how he's so
he's like
happy to see all of them.
he's like I haven't quite figured that out either. He just seems to be a real personable guy for whatever reason. He's a little full of himself, a little bit arrogant, but generally harmless, and most people just kind of like that about him. I don't know. It's weird. He's he's like, anyway, Gridge is a and his grunts are total professionals. They're very reliable. They may not be quite as skilled as some of the great warriors that you obviously fought alongside, but they're some of the best mercenaries you're going to get in this system,
Great.
and they know the
Yeah.
lay of the land, so to speak,
Well,
the
that's the
inside
important part.
information they have.
I
That's
still
They,
need access to the library, so that'll be even more days.
he's like,
well,
Right.
that's part of the
Wasn't that
reason
part of
we
why
were
we were
here.
here?
Yeah.
no, I think,
Yeah.
yeah, and I think this is probably about, like, maybe you see Dean Salson Dylan, is it Dylan, right? Yep. Oh no, Phyllis. Read my own
Yes.
handwriting.
Phyllis, but
Is
with a
kind of like,
th.
yes. But Dean Salson Phyllis is talking to a group of people and kind of, nearby, uh, and what have you. That would be the person who might have information on how it's going and whatnot with the library.
Well,
Yeah, I
time to
wouldn't.
bite. Go ahead, Xander. Go ahead.
I would think I would let her finish her conversation with whoever she's talking to, but when she got done, I'd be like, "So, has everybody headway for access to the library yet?"
And
I'm kind of an eager researcher here.
yeah, she's like, well, I think, and don't get me quoted on this, I think we might be able to allow some limited access tomorrow night. They're
What are you
they're
limited? Like just me? I'm all right with that. If it's just me going in there and finding out the information I need, and that would be it. I think that would be optimal if it was just me, not these two people that will
she's
not
like
leave me the fuck alone. Just
she's like she's just like
TMI.
she, she just looks at you like, what? And there's she's like, I thought they were your security. And she's like, in any case, we'll have to
They
fill
are.
out a request form for a special dispensation with a stated reason why the research is important enough to require early access.
okay. I think I
Uh,
can up
We're
with a
trying to save the universe.
yeah, fate of the multiverse. Let me in.
Ooh, even better.
I,
Hey, I
actually,
love
We
how
go
you
with
guys think.
Xander's rendition.
I love how
Zan-
you guys think that it's going to be so simple.
Xander, are you going to introduce the captain, or because I don't think he's met Salson?
No, I think you introduced him, or that he introduced you, because
Well,
Salson talked to you guys at the very beginning when
Yeah.
you got
oh,
here.
did we?
Yeah, when we first
Okay.
Well,
got
when you came
part,
back
Okay.
from having space diarrhea, you talked to her.
Yeah, you
Yep.
were. She met you guys when you came in,
That's right.
so but like and hung out with you guys for a while until Aramal kind of. She had other stuff. She had people she had to talk to, and Aramal came over and like dragged you away. Um,
Yep. She's one of
but
the.
yeah,
Yep. Yep. All right. Yeah, but no. Telepathically
and
to Xander, Twinkle would probably say, "We'll have that to her later."
and you have
I don't know. Just give me a copy of the form. Like, send it to me. I'll go back to my ship, print it out, fill it out, and then bring it back to you tomorrow.
yeah.
In 15
She's like,
minutes.
well, she's like, I can send you the form as soon as we get, as soon as I, you know, after the event and what have you. But we won't be able to get anything processed until tomorrow morning.
Well, yeah. I mean, you
So
email it to me or message it to me. I take it home, fill it out, and then bring it in tomorrow morning.
At 9:01.
and it's like yeah, she agrees to this. She's like, I can send. She's like, it's settled as soon as I get done. As soon as the event is over, well, I'll stop by my office and send the form your way. And and Twinkle, what are you doing with this time? There are a multitude of people you can try to talk to here. You can continue a conversation with Tomic Frickson. You can try to call Gridge. You can try, and his grunts. You can try to talk to the senators you need to talk to. Um, you
Twinkle
can talk to.
really
You can
doesn't.
go over and try to find out what Orgo is doing here,
Oh,
because
that's right. I forgot Orgo's here. Yes, let's go talk to Orgo.
yeah,
Yes.
he looks he looks incredibly uncomfortable. He's dressed up, and for what it's worth, he looks decent enough in a suit. He just doesn't look comfortable in it.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, and he's looks over and he's like, "Mm, Captain Twinkle, didn't think I'd see you here."
Likewise, Captain Skull Smasher. Although I must say that you are here is quite the oh gosh, Gunner is forgetting the word. Um shit. Let's just restructure that sentence. How's that? But seeing that you are here, that's quite the fortunate coincidence.
He's like, he goes, mm. And he kind of nods and he's like, so most of these people, eggheads, scholars, politicians,
Oh,
ain't
believe
never
me,
seen.
I employ more of them than I care to admit.
Yeah. He kind of chuckles. He says, employ them. What manner of work do you do?
Officially, we're a research vessel.
Research?
Yeah. Couldn't
Oh,
get
I see.
couldn't get the
Good.
captain to go for couldn't get the Commodore to go for a fast attack boat, but here we are.
He kind of goes, hmm. He goes, well, he goes, that would explain Agent Meffel is so damn interested in your ship.
Well, he's got his head up everybody's ass that's got fucking reactors sitting in a pressurized pod, doesn't he?
He kind of chuckles at this. He's like, yeah, seems like it. If you travel anywhere outside of the system, he's automatically got to put you on a list, it seems like.
Mm,
Yes.
lovely.
So, so research, huh? He goes, he goes, kind of research.
Well, right now, my boss has got me dragging my happy ass halfway across the galaxy, trying to find some information for some obscure piece of shit that may or may not exist.
Mm,
You
and
know,
my
one of those
boss
kind of things.
and my boss has me playing messenger boy, trying to deliver a message to somebody who ain't gonna read it, ain't gonna listen to it, ain't gonna even consider it, and you know, basically, I'm wasting my time here for my credits. Rather be out there doing the work I know best, not running around talking to people who need coercing in soft tones.
No. What's the
And he kind
message
of
and
looks a
who's it
little
for?
frustrated with that.
Who's it
He's
for?
like, it's reaching out to some of the. There's a message reaching out to some of these senators here. There's there's a lot of people that he kind of looks at you and goes, mm, you know, there's some of us what ain't got a homeland to speak of. Uplifted bears, orcs, you know, some goblins. He says, and there's some displaced Vesk don't fit in with the Veskarium. He says it's just a kind of a basic idea. Try to set up some shops on some planets. Put together. It's just called the Tuskhorn Alliance right now, because among those that are lacking a past and lacking a true homeland are the Nuar. Kind of started out with the orcs and the Nuar, and then the uplifted bears, and then a few goblins. Not a.
Nuar are the Minotaur people.
Yep.
Okay, just
He's
confirming.
like, he's like, we're we got our eye on a few planets. Some articles for government work in progress so far. They're trying. They want me to deliver a message of friendship and an offer of alliance to some of these senators. These senators are going to laugh our claims right out of their chambers.
So what you're...
After all,
Go ahead.
egalitarianism only goes so far with both people.
Hey, quid pro quo is the way to go these days, it seems. Out
It's
of
like,
character.
yeah,
Chris. Commodore, you know what I'm about to do, right? At first, I'm going to.
Go ahead.
Well,
At first, you're going to.
first I'm going to see if they have somewhere to stay, and if not,
Oh, nice. Do it.
they do have. They did just say they had structure for a government, which is somewhat worrying.
Sort of.
But
They know that Zai is a good warrior king. As far as the orcs go, they're down for that. And it's better than, the crazy cultist elf that Vesa tried to, get to go to Planet Zai.
Well, I was going to say, so this is
Listen,
what
I'm
Twinkle's
sorry.
doing. I'm letting you know this.
Hey,
The
it's okay.
fallout is what it is.
No, definitely do it. I mean,
Yeah.
come one, come all, come to the show.
Perfect. Huh. So, have you guys tried to put roots down anywhere lately?
Yeah, we've got a planet, and we've got one planet in a system you may not have heard of. It's in the Acadian cluster. Had to
Oh.
fight. We tried to take a system. It was the second system that we were able to take. The first one we lost to. The Raffidan system. The Netch Sidarans got there and couldn't dislodge them.
What do I
They
know
were
about the Acadian cluster? Anything?
You know that there has now been reference to the Acadian cluster because the Agent Tourmaline mentioned it to Xander, and Xander mentioned it to you.
What?
Hmm.
And a Caden cluster is the place supposedly we might need to get to.
It's a place that that might potentially have some answers.
Gotcha. Yeah.
All right. Wasn't the Acaden cluster where we were trying to go for Melanie because that was the place that they suggested we
Yes,
go? Okay.
yes, and
Out of character. So that is something that
the Raffidin
no one would
system,
know.
right? Only
Hmm.
the Raffidin station, it was referenced directly by Jolin Star Whisper too. It's
Yes,
where
I do remember that.
it's where Talit was
But I was
conducted.
trying to remember stuff so Zafira could,
Yeah.
or sorry,
Because that
Zarafa could
was
tell us stuff.
Well,
right.
Zarafa doesn't know a lot of this, so
Because
I know. I
Raffidin
was trying to
Station
struggle.
was that it was a Black Ops site for Vitari Tech.
right.
That
I
is
have that
correct.
written
But-
down.
But Twinkle doesn't know
And the
about that
Dro
yet.
won it.
Yep.
And
Well,
Though,
so yeah.
since
basically Twinkle.
Atomics is still here, that is something you could ask him.
Which part?
The atomic.
Yeah, you could ask Atomic about the cluster because it just
Oh,
got
okay.
brought up.
It's
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah.
atomic. It's just atomic.
I thought I said
My
Tomic.
bad.
My bad.
Yeah.
No, he was correcting me. You said it fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's something to ask him about. I forgot. Yeah. But I would say to him, oh, well, I will say this. If something ever happens in the Acaden cluster and it's no longer safe, I can assure you on my own name that there is a planet that might might interest you. You ever heard of Patella?
He kind of grunts.
Patella.
He's like, "You're with Patella, huh?"
Not really with Patella, with the guy that runs Patella.
He goes, "I tell you what, if you've got that kind of stroke it takes to negotiate, we'd be interested in negotiating an alliance of sorts, or at least negotiating some kind of trade or something."
I just keep.
I doubt seriously the Pact Worlds is even going to recognize our sovereignty. If they do, they'll likely sanction us anyway. So
Tell
no
me
harm
about
in us doing
sanctioning.
business.
That's what I'm supposed to kind of be here trying to avoid and doing very poorly. I'm not an ambassador. I'm not cut out for this shit. You know how that goes.
Yeah, he goes, unfortunately, I do. He's like, so essentially, we're both here on a fool's errand to try to get people who don't want to listen to us.
Well,
He,
I can do
he
this
kind of
much.
chuckles. He's
Go
like, that's ironic.
Yeah. But if you're serious, I'll talk to my people, they'll talk to your people. We'll get something worked out because at this point, the only way we're going to be recognized by any power in this world is if we make ourselves something they can't ignore and can't sanction their way out of.
Well, I understand the Vescarium hasn't sanctioned you. Hasn't
Yet.
sanctioned Patella.
Just a matter of time until we piss off the wrong person. You know. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, in my personal opinion.
He chuckles. He goes, if you ask me, Pact Worlds, Marixa, nah. I don't know if it. I don't think we necessarily need them. We just need some good, strong allies, and a little bit of hard work. Maybe some resources. We're working on that.
Well, of course, as are we. And I have a feeling that our parties will definitely see eye to eye on that, being small fish in a very, very, very big pond.
Says, well, I can't tell you exactly what the actual name of this thing is going to shake out being, but so far, depending on who you're talking to, it's the Tusk Horn Alliance or the Claw Horn Alliance or the Claw Tusk Alliance. But it's going to be some sort of alliance. Anyway, it's like, Yeah, that's a. He says, "You know what? I like the idea of an ambassador who's not really an ambassador."
As am I. You probably offer a hand. It
Yeah,
is
he'll
good
shake
to
your
have
hand.
met you, Orgo.
He says, "Likewise," and, and he
Uh,
kind of, yeah, and
the
I think
image of that is very fun.
oh yeah, he's just this big ass fucking orc in a tuxedo with a fucking mohawk,
Uh,
Just
shaking hands
cybernetic
with
arms
a
and shit.
little
Yeah,
isekai, and are you wearing a tux as well?
Twinkle is probably wearing something to that effect, yes.
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, it's great. You guys look good. Let's go on.
All we need are the dark sunglasses. And then we can be men in
Ooh,
black. Oh gosh, which one are we even on at this
Standard
point?
edition.
It's just
Five or
not.
just four?
I don't
So
even know.
that make you T.
I I I quit keeping track. So
I think there's
Anyway,
5. Well, 4
gotcha.
plus the show. Anyway,
If we've got time, we probably will bother Tomic about what the heck is going on in the Acaden cluster. But if not, that's no big deal.
well, you have time. I mean, but I think Tomic pretty much tells you, "I'll look into it." He says, it'll take some time for me to, see what I can see."
No worries. You know who I work for.
Yep. He he nods and he goes, "Yep." He goes, "Indeed." And he says, "Soon as I know anything, I'll send you the details."
That
And
works for me.
he, he obviously has sent you Gridge's number at this point.
Yeah, I suppose we should try and bite the bullet and talk to Gridge, shouldn't we? What? Mahalo, what have you been
Well,
doing?
I was gonna say, you also, you know,
I say
got
I
plenty of
have been
things to do.
following you around like a good um escort. No, that's still not the word I want. Um, and date
Bodyguard?
isn't the word we want either. Anyway, I've been being your helper, your wing girl.
Assistant.
There we go. Assistant wing girl. There we go.
Assistant to the wing girl. Wait,
Concierge?
does that make
Concierge.
Xander the wing
Mm,
girl?
Oh God.
Xander hasn't needed the wing girl. Otherwise, I would have used my diplomacy to buff him as well.
But, no,
Let's.
so, yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes, Captain.
I think it's time we got a hold of our hobgoblin friend.
All right. Yeah. Step out
Oh.
onto a balcony or something to make this call.
Yeah.
Okay, so we already have his number.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
All right. And I think as you step out onto the balcony to make the phone call, I'm going to cut over here and we get a scene. Um, we get like the panned out view of Broken Rock, and then we cut back in, and we've got like something of a built up like stage, ramshackle stage, and looks very much like very much like something pirates would put together on the fly, and we've got Ovesh, formerly of House Zimlothi, is strung up, tied up, and just staring coldly out at the crowd gathered around. And we've got and this has been like Zeridan's typical flair for dramatic here because he understands pirates love nothing more than a good show or a good story. So he's made them wait a little bit for this, and maybe this is the point where the two of you come out, and he's like right before you guys come, go up onto the stage. He kind of looks at you and he goes, "Look like we've had a serious argument. It'll sell what's going on so much better." And he steps up onto the stage, or he steps up onto the stage first, um, at like with you, like with like a steps up onto the stage first and takes position to start speaking. We see Shaba. What is Shaba's demeanor here?
Well, she's in a completely different uniform than she normally is. It's a straight up pirate uniform.
Nice, nice. She is
Nice.
And
completely.
not one of those sexy ones, like a serious suit. And oh God, what's the goddess's name?
Desna, or not Desna, Besmera.
Besmera.
Ismira,
She
yeah.
she has like Besmera's symbol on like each side of her arms. Like she's
Nice.
Nice.
going whole hog. Like that's it. I'm a pirate. Screw you
Yep,
all.
It's
yep.
about time.
And maybe there's a guy kind of standing off to just like next to where Ovesh is strung up, and he's holding the lash. He's well aware of the ceremony here involved. Um, and Zeradin's kind of calms the crowd. They're all raucous and they're yelling things, and Zeradin kind of steps up and he says, I know. He says, this is all. He says, it's a very sad day when renegades and rebels decide to turn upon their own, when they turn upon heel and snap at their own pack, at the very leadership that helps provide struggle in an otherwise chaotic business. The fortune of the no gentleman of fortune should make a or gentle lady of fortune should be making an assault upon another within these within the this upon this rock. This has been agreed upon for as long as anyone can remember, as long as the pirates, the free captains, have been on this rock. And they kind of cheer because they're, yeah, you said free captains. They're sort of, like, and this is a port that is free for all, and it means that if you are here and you are one of them, you are free from assault without the express consent from the council. And I don't remember accepting any challenges to duels. This is a spy who has made their way into our midst, slipped by the best of security. Once, yeah, and they are booing. Yeah, they're like boo. They're like, this one comes to us as a traitor amongst our kind. Not even a traitor, I never was. And he says, this cannot go unpunished. Normally, I would have the head of anyone that does that makes an assault on my life, or the lives of any of you, or you, or you. This is not something that we take lightly. We have very few laws, very few agreements here, but we have enough to keep us from being animals. And he says, however, this indignity is not just one born of myself, it's an indignity born of one of our great captains and one of our greatest contributors. He says, therefore, and he looks over in your direction, Shaba, with like this meaningful look that's meant to sell to the crowd that, you know, we just had a tough discussion about this. In light,
Oh yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah. She gives back the same meaningful look. It's just like why?
Yeah, yeah, it's like, in this case, since there are multiple aggrieved parties here, I Captain Yon and I have come to an agreement. I will be releasing this prisoner unto her, and the crowd boos at this. They're like, "Oh, boo!" And it's like, however, and he kind of waves to quiet them down. As her captain, she is entitled to punishment. she's entitled to suit the punishment for it. However, since it was an assault here on Broken Rock, I felt it was only fair that it's shared with the rest of you. A crime committed upon one of us is a crime committed upon all, at least in this sense. And he says, Shaba, if you will, and the guy standing next to hands you the lashes, hands you the lash.
Okay. Shaba looks at the lash. What type of lash is it?
It's maybe it's like it's probably like a pretty thick bullwhip type thing. It's definitely made for discipline.
For
Like,
flogging.
the- yeah, discipline. You know, not every captain goes this far with like the old school discipline, but it's an option they leave open.
Is there any metal interlaced among it?
Um, I'm gonna say probably, yeah, probably so. Zerodin kind of takes it personal when you try to kill him.
Okay. And what's her real name again? Because I want to call her
Ovesh.
Ovesh.
Ovesh, formerly of House Zimlothi.
And how is she? Well, as you put it, how is she strung up? Is it like a single pole?
Nope, it's a square frame with the arms and legs tied to, pulled to each corner, essentially.
So a Starship Troopers.
Yeah,
Ah, that type. Yes.
yeah.
That's yes. And what's she wearing?
Um, they just have her in robes. Like, they weren't gonna bring her out here in like armor or anything. Just light
Oh yeah,
robes.
light robes.
Yeah.
So Shaba tests the lash for a second, not hitting anybody, just getting used to it,
Mm-hmm.
and then lets it coil back up in her hand, and she walks up behind
Mm-hmm.
Ovesh
Yep.
and basically takes her combat knife and starts at the back of the robe and slashes it right down so it literally falls off her.
Mm-hmm.
So she's just completely 100% exposed to
Mm-hmm.
everybody here. We're adding insult to injury on this one.
Oh yeah. Well, and the crowd is hooting and hollering for this. They're into it.
That's good.
She doesn't
And
make a sound.
and how many lashes were agreed upon?
I believe it was 15.
Thought it was
Okay.
15 if she misbehaved and 10 if she
Yeah,
behaved.
and she has done nothing but like exactly follow. She hasn't given any resistance at this point.
So 10.
Yeah.
I could be cruel and go for 15.
That is a
10 will,
fact.
10 will do.
Mm-hmm.
So Shaba gets ready, tests the lash one more time.
Mm-hmm.
And the first two, she like does the crisscross the back.
Mm-hmm.
But for the next 6, she casts electrical jolt through the whip and lashes her 6 times with that.
Okay.
And then we just finish off with the other 2.
Okay. Through it all, she doesn't make a sound, and the like when you look at her face when she like you get the fact from the crowd that she just completely does not give them what they're wanting. They want to see the pain and the agony, and she just doesn't give it to them. And you have to hand it to her. That's got to be some pretty intense training for her to fucking deal with the lashing you gave her.
Oh
Like,
yeah, that
you're
Shaba's
assuming,
impressed.
yeah, she's obviously gone through interrogation resistance training, pretty hardcore.
Okay,
But yeah,
yeah. Once the lashing's done, she hands the lash back the lackey that had it, and she walks
Mhm.
right up behind Nurse Dickerson and lean down because
Mhm.
height difference, and basically just loud enough for her to hear, "That's impressive, but let's see how you handle me later in my quarters, because we're not done. I am going to break you and make you mine." And I tell some of
Uh,
my crew to take her to my quarters and lash her straight up,
uh,
continuing this on board.
yeah, she's she there is a yeah, she just kind of like just gives you a cold empty stare.
I
Yeah, there
hardly wait till I can make you shed a tear.
yeah,
There are
the
four lights.
Yes.
the crowd kind of like dissipates, somewhat disappointed. Like they were oohing and on over the lashes, but the fact that Ovesh gave them nothing, you
Yeah.
know, just kind of they were a little disappointed. Zeridan manages to save some of the fervor by giving a little speech at the end as you're walking away, you know, about, various things about like, being a free port, but, respecting the traditions of the free captains, which is something he's one of the few people who can get away with talking about things like traditions and rules because he's super freaking popular, but,
Yeah.
um, and he knows how to do it the right way. Um, but uh, yeah, and maybe like you're sort of contemplating, and like as you're sort of contemplating, like eventually he comes down off of the stage and he goes, and he's like, he just kind of looks at like walks by and he goes, you know, when you came here before and they had you as the captain of the Spitfire, I didn't think you would rise to this level. What changed? What made you change? You were a lot different.
Let's just say when I came captain of the Fire Shrike itself, and supposedly who was to be a crew member turned on me and then blew it up.
I wondered why
That
you had a new ship,
that's when things turned inside.
Hmm.
and
Plus,
mutiny will do that.
yes, it will. Plus, my entire stash of goodies got blown up too, so I had to go cold turkey.
Oh, and don't forget that you were tortured by the Hell Knights for a year and a half.
Oh, I thought it was 6 months.
Oh, was it
6
6
months.
months?
Yeah,
Yeah,
My bad.
yeah, torture for 6 months at the Hell Knights, and she points to the cybernetic legs and the one arm, and it's like, you know, things change people.
I guess so. It was like, in any case, in any case, they are already telling stories about your exploits on Vesk 7. I'm assuming that your wayward crewmate had something to do with that.
Yes, and if I ever find him, I'm going to kill him. No ifs, ends, or buts.
It was, well, mutiny is one of the most
Common.
one of the most terrible betrayals one can have. One's own crew turning against them. Some captains have deserved it in the past, but I don't imagine that you might have done anything to deserve it. He was like, and I think he's probably like, come. He goes, Says there's a bit of a. I'd like you to sit in on something. There's going to be, he says, in a couple of days' times, there will be a council meeting. I was wondering if you were interested in sitting on in and listening. I wanted to get your take on a couple of things.
I would be honored.
Hmm.
I was
Councilman
like,
Vesa.
Vesa.
I'm just kidding. Councilman Shaba.
But
Senator Vesa.
Senator Vesa.
Hmm.
You
See
gonna make her
that?
now?
Well, she's already
How
head of
many people do
HR.
I have to kill to be a senator? Kidding.
Zero.
I love how the
I can
question
give you the title of senator right now, and you can be the first head of HR and senator of Planet Patella.
Oh.
That one's easy to get. It's just
I'd
a
rather
senator.
be a council member of Broken Rock.
Well, yes, definitely, dear.
No, I think um I think at this point I would like to go over to some stuff with the Fire Shrike, or not the Fire Shrike, the Blue Ember. And I'm gonna go and I'm gonna and I'm gonna start with Vesa. Vesa.
Mm-hmm.
So you have just received you just got done receiving a message from Qualu that everybody's on lockdown to return to the ship. And like maybe you had just run into Nurx, who is coming back from like the
Oh,
red
fuck.
corridors where she was
Fuck.
doing whatever. Um,
Getting
yeah,
blue fruit for me.
probably. And she just kind of like, uh, and the two of you are walking along and walking along, and I don't know if you guys are holding, any kind of conversation or if you're both kind of in your own sort of deal, but you both get the message about the same time. Um,
I
and you,
I think we're conversing, but it's like polite conversation,
yeah,
because we don't know each
But
other well
it's
enough yet. And it's like,
Nerks.
oh,
well, and you guys have an awkward
sure.
relationship anyway, so
It's
yeah,
gotten better now that you've proven yourself, though. So I guess she's making polite conversation. That would make sense.
uh,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But I think maybe about the time you look up from this text, you look up and coming right around the corner, like pretty much right in front of you, like he sees you as soon as you see him, is your father,
Oh
Severus
fuck!
Riven, and he's flanked by two people. One, you recognize Evan Saval from both the Fire Strikes records and from, the media. He's a member of the Next Step who had been put
Oh,
away in an incident that involved the Fire Strike. Um, they and one Captain Cervantic Cordrum. And Nurx looks up and sees she doesn't recognize your father, obviously. She recognized the other two. Ah, fucking shit. And like,
go
uh,
for it,
Yeah.
Nerks.
and I think Savor, your father, walks over, sees you, and he comes straight towards you. The other two sort of hover to the back a little bit. Cordrum sneers at Nurx. He's like, he's like, Vesa, where have you been? You were called back months ago.
Hi. I got caught up in some stuff. Not a big deal. Everything's cool. Uh, I just, it was on my list to come
You're
home,
on
and
your list. You have any idea how big
yeah.
do I am working with Arius Teletech now, and much more important people. This is a time where the family needs to be together, consolidated, so that we can plan our next moves. You're going to
Uh,
need to you're going to take up some responsibilities with the mining company, and you're going to have to represent the family business.
Sounds great, but I also have some prior obligations that I have to address first.
He's like,
So,
He's like, prior obligations.
Yes, Dad, Jesus Christ. Like, I have a fucking life. I'm sorry. I don't want to be there for the family all the time. I have to, like, sow my own oats and live my own life for a second and learn the fucking world. And it's so exciting for you that you've got this big fucking deal going on. But Jesus Christ, Dad, I'm a fucking adult now. Like, I've got shit to do.
She's like,
I love you and I love Mom, and that's awesome, but fuck, dude. And I fucking say all that shit.
yeah, he just kind of he looks at you and goes, "Are you finished throwing a temper tantrum now? Can
It's
we
not a tantrum.
talk
Oh
about
my god.
can we yeah, he is totally giving you the dad's not listening thing." and Nurks is like kind of and I think Cordrum kind of interrupts here and he goes and he kind of like at he kind of looks over at Nurks and he goes, "Long time no see." And Nurks is like, "Yeah, fuck you." And he's just like, and he just chuckles at that, and he just kind of chuckles. He's like, we'll settle one day. And he says, "Tell your friend we'll be settling soon enough." He's like, and I think Nurks is partially like, "Yeah, I fucking will, and I'll tell you we're gonna settle too. You killed my friend, and you tried to kill my other friend. You killed two of my friends. One just came back to life, or was never really dead.
I'm
It's
fucking.
confusing, but I'm mad at you and fuck you." And she flips him off. I'm like, she's like, and so
I'm gonna fucking pat her on the back. God damn it.
and and he just basically no sells this by laughing at her, and and because he knows he's like, "What are you gonna do? Don't have your friends here with you?" And she's like,
Oh,
"Yeah."
she's
And
got me, and we'll fucking fight.
she's like, he kind of looks at you, goes, "If you want to call it that, if you want to call the .5 seconds it takes me to run my plasma sword through you a fight," and
Oh.
Nurks just kind of looks at him and
I'm
goes,
a
yeah, and Nurks just looks at him and goes, "You don't fucking talk to Cream Puff like that." And it's like, and, and there's just like this moment of tense. Um,
I'm gonna look over at my dad and be like, so these are the motherfuckers that you're hanging out with now? Like, seriously?
like these are probably some of the finest security I can get, both vastly and horribly misunderstood and maligned in the press. Cordrum here
Sure,
committed
sure,
no crime as
whatever.
far as the Pact Worlds is
Oh.
concerned, and all of the evidence for Evan Saval has been thrown out as being, shall we say, consequential or inconsequential. And it is like
Right.
much of it was tainted by the existence of your friends on the Fire Shrike. Let me ask you a
Mother.
question. He says, "Do you understand how things work in the wider spectrum of things? I know I taught you.
What
Have you
do
ever
you
heard of
think I am doing?
He's like, "Have you ever heard of have you ever heard of a ship called the Menagerie?"
Have I?
Yes. Well, maybe. I don't know. He make a culture check.
Okay. Find my.
Just gonna say, as head of HR, you'd probably know
Did it
something, unless you just forgot.
That's pretty good. You probably actually saw something about it when Oliver Byrne came on with some of the stuff that, like, from his background and whatnot. He actually used to be a part of that group,
Mm.
that ship.
Gotcha.
And he says, "You see, the star lawyer, if you can call him a star lawyer, for your friend Volvetto, happens to be one Thobus Greenfellow, and one wonders how he manages to have gotten so successful. However, it seems
I
that this
mean,
ship, the Menagerie, did a little work for Thobus. Oh, about several months ago, potentially a year, we have some sworn witnesses, some sworn complaints about witness intimidation and wholesale slaughter of an entire tribe of goblins by a this menagerie hired by one Thobus Greenfellow. That speaks to credibility. Once I
I mean,
destroy the
okay.
credibility, he says, once I destroy the
Sorry.
credibility of the lawyer, of your Captain Volvetto's lawyer, overturning the sovereignty, that'll be an easy thing. He says, it'll just
You're
be
not.
icing on the cake. This is your last chance to come home and not be branded a criminal, a terrorist, and be hunted down by the Pact Worlds and every law enforcement that is worth anything in the galaxy. You'll be
I
forced to live on the fringes of galactic society.
um
I promise you the
well,
title of lady on Planet Zi.
here's the thing, Dad. I'm gonna do what I want, and I super duper enjoy being a fucking pirate. And I don't give a fuck about any of what you have to offer me. Everything that you have is basically lies and speaking out of both sides of your mouth and just whatever the fuck you're doing with all of these fucking things. I don't even know you anymore. I don't even know if I knew you to begin with. So why would I take anything from you at this point? I got some friends. I got some shit to do.
Make a perception check.
Okay.
You got this. No, 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 no.
Okay.
Oh yeah, you do.
My heart's pounding. I'm talking shit to my dad.
I'll make one for Sue.
It's okay. This is a bad dad. You're allowed to talk shit to us.
Yeah.
Fuck this guy. Like, I'm pretty much like, wash your hands of me, I wash my hands of you. We can walk away from each other right fucking here.
And the best part is he'll forget to cancel the credit card still.
Hell yes, he will.
He's like, yeah, I think Nurks catches this too, and he's like, you see, just the briefest of moments. You blink, you almost think you don't see it, except for the fact that you see the look on Nurks's face. She saw it too, but just this briefest shimmering of a black, pardon, of like a black film that goes across his eyes
Mhm.
for the briefest of moments, and it's gone. And his entire
Yeah.
demeanor changes, and he looks at you and he goes, I see you've made your decision. I'll tell your mother you said hello. And he turns
Oh,
and
I'll tell her my goddamn self.
he turns and walks away. And Cordrum and Saval Saval just kind of offers up a cocky smile, and Cordrum offers one last like menacing look at Nurks, and before he walked away, before they walk away, and after they get out of earshot, Nurks looks at you and goes, "Yeah, you know he would have killed both of us. I've seen him fight." That's all she says about it, and it's probably the first time you've seen her show any level of fear of anybody. And it wasn't fear, it was
Yeah.
just that it was a statement of fact. She knew damn good and well right then and there. Um, Statistically speaking, yeah, you guys would need help. and,
Yeah.
um,
So she says that, and I look over at her, and I'm like, yeah, we're gonna have to
uh,
kill my dad. Let's get that guy too.
it's like,
Remind me
she
what the
looks
other
at
guy
you.
did that we hate him for.
Evan Saval was one of the leaders of the Next Step groups that you were fighting
So he is the guy
back
from
when you
way
first
back
started.
in the day. Okay.
Way back when
Yes,
I
you guys
first started with you guys.
Yep,
Right.
you
When you
guys.
were just a
He
pretty
was
intern.
involved. Yep, and you guys managed to get him captured and transferred to the authorities.
Mm.
They basically decided that all the evidence was tampered. Apparently they paid somebody to get the judge to rule that the evidence was tainted, tampered with, or tampered with. and what have you. He's like,
Vesa has her hand raised.
yes.
Whenever you're ready.
Go for it.
Can I call my mom?
Um, it's if it's unless she's on station, it's gonna take a couple of days to get to her. And he didn't tell you where she's at all. He just said
Right,
it's
but wouldn't she have like she'd have some sort of communication though to like get a message?
right. Yeah, it's just
You
gonna
can
take a while
call
for it
her.
to
It's
get to her.
just it'll be more like an email that takes a week and a half to get there. An email that
Okay.
travels snail mail.
Well,
Gotcha.
it's because there's not one galaxy-wide internet. Each planet has their own like info.
So I think at some point we should run that adventure.
Think passengers.
So
When you try to send a message back to Earth, it took like what 4 years.
something like
Mm.
that. The but yeah, you could definitely send a message to her if you want.
Okay. Yeah,
You're,
I'll just like quickly like, "Hey mom, it's me. How are you? I miss you. Uh had a moment, found dad. He's hanging with some interesting individuals. Uh also, it wasn't a great conversation. Um and I uh would really like to talk to you. And I love you and I miss you and please call me. I'm gonna just send that off.
I think Nurx probably sends a message back to. She sends two messages out. She's like, I'll. She sends a message for like, and she probably sends these both at the same time. To Ashira, she just sends you a message. You get a message that says he's here. Zai, you get a message that says we have a problem.
Aw.
Yeah,
And I'm like, is it okay for me to do stuff now?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You
I
like
just want to make sure.
We'll cut to you where you're like Zai getting the message. Actually,
And
we'll
I'm
do a
like,
split screen of Ashira and Zai getting the message. So
okay, well, Ashira, you go first.
Okay, so I'll get the message. Set my coffee cup down. Obviously.
And you
Okay.
will get a second one that says I just ran into my dad and some shit went south. Like just throwing that out there.
right.
Doot-doot-doot-doot.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I'll read through and then okay. Now I'm gonna. So that was the Nurks that sent me that. Yeah.
Yeah, Nurk
Nurse was
sent
one
you.
that sent
He's
he's
here.
here.
Yep.
What do you mean he?
Yeah.
You know what
Um.
he is.
I'm just
She's
like.
like. Yeah. She's like the. She's like. She just sends out back Cordrum.
Okay.
All right, now you know.
Maybe when you saw maybe when you saw Burnward come out with a broken hand and a face that looked angry as shit, you kind of understand now.
Yeah. This is like, oh, 2 and 2. but that but that also means that the captain knows and he didn't tell you.
So
If
we can't
Burnward
get.
knew, if that's what Burnward was reacting to, then that means the captain
That
would
would be
know.
the first place you should go because he is the biggest muscle you have on board.
Okay.
If that's how you're gonna do it.
I mean, yeah, I'm gonna need backup, obviously, or I die again. For real this time.
All right. Are you going to be with Zenfaresh getting your hand fixed at the moment? Burnward.
Yeah, no, I'm just in the med bay. I mean, like getting a hand reset is kind of like just another Tuesday for Burnward. So
Right?
yeah,
He's
Alright,
just like,
well, if you
eh,
want some healing, Zenfaresh is there for you.
no, for sure. Yeah, I mean, like I'm assuming he gets magical healing or whatever he needs to do. He's broken much worse in combat and just kept moving through sheer rage. So you know, he's just doing the basic patch up that he needs.
God,
yeah.
I feel Burnward like personally.
So you're heading towards the last
To the
place
med
you
bay?
saw him, to the
Well,
med bay, well, the makeshift med
the
bay.
cargo bay that pretends to be a med bay.
Sure, whatever.
Zrinvesh goes, yeah, you probably walk in and see Zrinvesh healing fucking Burnward's hand.
Yeah, and Burnward
Oh.
looks
Forrest,
about
be
as
proud.
sour as a 30-year-old lemon.
Okay, so kind of let him know about the text message I got and everything, and how I kind of want to go there, but I'm gonna need backup.
Yeah,
You're- yeah.
Burnward like looks at you and is like, yeah, figured you'd find out somehow. And then like literally all he does is he just like walks over to his power armor, gets in, and then flicks out the rocket launcher on his shoulder, and he's like, you're the captain. You speak for the captain, right?
Of course.
Sounds good. And just like fucking like flips down his helmet and he's fucking ready to go.
Ah.
Yeah, I think and Captain, how do you respond when you get your like the message from Nerks?
All right, so without knowing any of that shit just went down, I immediately call Nerks.
It's like, Captain, Commodore, we got a fucking problem.
I know we have a fucking problem, but we can't do it here.
He's like, well, shit, you might want to tell Ashura that, because I just sent her a message letting her know.
Ah, fuck, I knew this would happen.
Oh yeah.
Ah.
Oh yeah.
She's like, oh
You
look.
realize now that Burnward is going to be in on this because that's going to be the first one she goes to.
Yeah.
This
like-
just became a whole clusterfuck of stupid. Who's with you? Tell me Vasa's with you.
Phyllis is with me. We ran into her father. That's who he's hanging out with. And that Evan Saval from way back when. He didn't say much.
Oh,
He just looked at me like that greasy fucker he is.
he's mostly robot at this point. It doesn't matter.
Oh,
Out of the three,
God.
he is the least of my worries. Fuck are we gonna do? Tix Pit. This is all going to get bad. Fuck. I alert
I
the
f- I
authorities.
feel for you, Commodore. All I had to do was flog a spy. You're going to have full blown
At
riot
this
on
point,
your head.
that's my best option. I hang on. I'll be right back with you. I alert the authorities. I
Yeah.
call fucking
crap.
Kasathan cops and go, this is what's going down. Stop them.
He's like, there's a moment where like you get this, you barely get this out, and you get a
The cops on us?
sorry. Yeah, he's just like, he's
You
like,
Fucking
technically don't know
narc.
that, but yes.
he's like,
I mean, yeah,
we're a little
obviously.
busy right now. Kind of got our hands full, and you hear like a bunch of fucking noise going on in the background. It sounds like
Oh fuck.
it sounds like there is a fight going on.
And that's
Um,
at the police station because that's what I would have called.
and Ashira, Burnward, Vesa, Nerks, you guys are still out on the deal. You start seeing portals opening up.
Oh,
Oh,
And
boy.
okay.
security forces have their hands busy. There is all kinds of fucking monsters and crazy shit pouring out of these portals. And the Kasathan security forces are just like they were completely unprepared for this. So there's like small
Well,
groups of them here and there trying to figure out plans on how to get the shit together. Um,
are they
there
also appearing on the ship? Well, no, wait, I don't know that.
and there is a moment, and I think Ashira and Burnward, I think like Commodore, the only clue you have to anything that's going on right now is you know that Ashira and is probably going to head to try to find Cordrum, and there's some
Mhm.
sort of like fight going on at whatever at the security station or whatever. There's
But I
uh,
haven't seen any portals yet. Got it.
you haven't seen any portals yourself yet.
All right. Well, Six Pit and I definitely stopped going towards the vaults, so to speak. But
Mhm.
where were we head? I definitely Six Pit. Let's head back to the ship. Let's see if we can intercept them.
Okay.
How close are Nerks and I from the ship right now?
You're a little ways off. but I think you all kind of come upon like one of the larger open spaces, one of the larger open spaces, and you're coming at it from different angles. Maybe it's that thing you see each other from across the courtyard, and then a portal rips open right in front of you, and a fucking dragon comes out of.
Can you be more
Are you
specific than that?
Um,
A huge
I
fucking
believe
dragon.
yes, a huge fucking dragon.
Yeah.
What color
Actually,
is it?
it's metal colored because it's a
Oh fuck.
robot dragon.
Oh well, that makes it a little better.
It's a
Jesus.
Oh.
very large
No, you
robot
can't have
dragon,
it.
and there's
I don't want it.
as soon as it tumbles out, or like because it comes out backwards, like it's been struck by something, and then another one comes out and clashes with it, and then a third. And two of them are clashing in the courtyard, one of which is looking around and has become completely aware of everything or of its surrounding and is looking around at all of you. This is
You
about the
guys had
time
just come out of the red district right before that. That's probably the
the
best place for you to go.
the this is about the same time that Ashira, you and Burnward kind of make it out to this complex too. Like it's a thing where like all of you see each other from various angles from across the courtyard. This portal rips open and all this shit starts flying out. The security forces are too tangled up with everything else that's coming out. There's nobody that's able to come deal with this.
What is
Um,
flying out?
robot dragons.
Robot dragons.
Yes.
Bernward looks at Ashira and goes, "Robot dragons. It had to be robot dragons." And just warms up the missile launcher.
And I think this is a good place to cut away on because
Okay.
to cut away. And I want to cut back at like you know what? Uh, it's 10:05 right now, and I want to set up the mechanics for this fight for next week. I was gonna do it.
Okay.
I was gonna do it Saturday after I got off work, but my daughter came down so on Sunday, so I had to just spend the night cleaning. So I was hoping to be able to stretch this just a tiny bit longer before we got to this point, but that's kind of not how it worked out. Worked out. So, um, but
Back to
um,
Twinkle. Back to
so
Shaba.
let's go back to Twinkle really quick. Um, Twinkle, you are completely unaware of what's going on here. With the Fire Shrike and with the Blue Ember.
He
You're
probably
still at
wouldn't
the
be
dinner
much.
party,
He probably wouldn't be
and you're
much help either way. He'd probably be
well,
like, "Robot dragons, hey, I found a tooth from one of those once." At least I think it's a robot dragon.
all right. Well, you've got a you're calling Gridge, the Hobgoblin mercenary, and you get an answer like Gridge here, go.
Probably takes just a moment to collect himself. Gridge, name's Twinkle Bailey. I was referred to you by a mutual friend, Tomic.
Go Frickson. Yeah, he's a good sort. Good jobs. Usually pays pretty well.
You in a place you can talk right now? Last I
Yeah,
saw, you were
yeah,
being hounded by a mutual friend.
yeah. We're good. He follow. He knows about when to stop following me. It's about the time that he realizes that I'm leading him all over the place.
Nah, gotcha. So that being the case, well, I've got some business in the Acaden cluster, and Tomic referenced you as a guide.
To be clear, the Acaden cluster is not where Sansorgus
Sorry,
is.
you're right.
It's it is.
I say the
It's
right place.
he's like, you're now by Sansorgus. Pretty
Hmm.
hot zone out there. So
He's.
I'm guessing you're looking for somebody who knows the lay of the land, speak.
That's right.
Says, fair enough. He says, me and my grunts can get you in and out of there with less hassle than probably anybody else. Says, what do you pay? He says, what's the job? Just escort? Pathfinding?
A little bit of everything. We're kind of going in. Well, I'll just put it this way: I'll have more information in the coming days. Maybe the coming weeks, depending on how some of this shit goes. We're trying to do it right and have a permit to be there. You know how that goes.
Eh, well, once you get licenses and stuff, they tend to, well, I won't say they leave you alone. They don't bother you as much. Mm,
Either way,
depending on who you are. Obviously, things being what they are, they bother me a lot.
well then, maybe since you're with me and I've got the licenses, it'll all work out. Either way, I'll have more information on what the job is in future dates. Suffice it to say, we're going to be doing a little bit of exploration. I've got the ship for it. I don't have the guns for it.
He's like, I understand. Me and my grunts, we can see you through. Well, says you as soon as you give us more details, we can talk price.
Of course. I'll
And
let you
says,
know as soon as I have those details.
all right. He says, I'll be around. Don't take too long though. A lot of people need escorted through dangerous spaces these days.
That's why I talked to you first.
And he and he and he says, I appreciate that. And he says, hey, just let me know on further details, and we'll go from there.
Can do. And probably.
And,
Go ahead.
yeah,
Yeah, after
yeah. I
that,
think
probably
he's
sign off.
just kind of he signs off as well. He's just like but you like pretty much he was straightforward about it. He was like, "Yep, you want to go places that where you need the extra hand? Pay me and I'll do it."
Yep.
He needs like I got my guys and like um for the record, like maybe he sends back that he's got a squad of like 3 guys plus himself. Um,
Okay.
Mixed mercenary bag. Um,
Sure.
for the most part, they seem to be expats from Gitaron Authority, but there are a couple that look like they come from. There's at least one that looks like they come from somewhere else.
Okay. Works for me.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, and after that, it's probably just a matter of finding Xander, whatever he's wandered off to.
what is Xander doing here?
He's just randomly talking to random people, just being social.
Okay. Yeah, just talking. Just kind of like mingling and stuff. All right, that's cool. Yeah, I think you probably see him often talking to a group of people who look like they're probably part of the scholar set. You notice that these are people that throughout the night you may have noticed like seeming a bit more awkward talking to the people are politicians or whatever, um, or military individuals. And it's kind of like, but yeah, and Bazik and Isaki are there. Isaki, for her part, interjects every now and again when you talk anything that has to do with theological or religious matters. She'll offer her 2 cents then. Bazik basically just stands there trying to look like he belongs, and it's comical because he's really big and he's trying to drink like tea in a fancy way. He's got like his pinky claw out. And he doesn't. It's maybe about the most ridiculous you've ever seen Bazik. Bazik normally just looks like this monstrous animal that's going to kill everything in his path, but seeing him try to fit into polite society is somehow incongruously funny.
I I feel like Bazik is the kind of dude who like You put him in high society, and he has to do it on his terms, because otherwise he just can't succeed. You know?
Yeah, yeah. You're pretty sure the only reason he hasn't gotten kicked out or started a fight is because Isaki is there and shoots him like a look every now and again when it looks like when it looks like he's thinking something. Like, nope, this is not where you need to talk. Calm down.
Good on him for trying, you know? Most people never bother, but he's making an attempt.
You're not entirely certain why, but he is. Maybe it's just novel to him in this moment. But yeah, you still have, but yeah, you still have a great deal of you've talked to the dean, who's told you, who's set stuff up with you. You've talked to Orgo, kind of find out what he's all about and what's going on with him. Um, Actually, I think Orgo probably tells you, like, hands you a card, and he's like he's getting ready to head out, and he hands you a card, and he's like, "The bear that's with you, tell him if he ever want it, tell him if he's ever interested. He's got a place with us if he ever needs one." And he kind of hands you the card.
Yeah, he takes it, smiles, nods, and the same goes for you and your group.
And he goes, "That's
Hopefully our
why
paths cross again.
yeah." He goes, "I look forward to it." Says maybe next time we can have a proper drinking contest in a place where such things are proper.
Didn't your mother ever tell you not to pick on isekai in drinking contests?
He chuckles. He goes, "I don't know. I've met a couple that could drink twice their weight."
So from what? They could drink 16 ounces instead of the regular 8?
He kind of laughs. He goes, "I like you." He says, "You can take a joke even at your own expense." And he and he and he's like, "We'll see you around."
See
And
you later.
he kind of walks off. And I think there is a and I think like maybe we leave Twinkle in that moment right there. And I think there is a moment where we get the I think maybe it makes sense for it to be Shaba. Shaba, you are on your way back to your ship, and you run across a very familiar face you haven't, a very old face, but a very familiar one. And he kind of goes, and you see uh, Chunder Bucket Charlie, and he's just kind of sitting on a crate in the docking area. And as you kind of like come back towards the docking area, he kind of chuckles and he goes, and he kind of motions to you.
She sort of does that little smile, chuckle, and is like, Chunderbucky Charlie, what are you doing here again?
"Oh, I came to check on you. I understand," he says, "from where I'm sitting, it seems like you're starting to, I never liked loose threads." And he kind of picks it like his sweater that he's wearing under his coat, just at the sleeves. He goes, "You pick it that you." He says, "The thing is, once a thread is loose, you can never quite deal with it. If you pull on it, you pull the whole thing, all the fabric apart. If you cut it off, it'll just come loose again, and you'll still have the same problem. You burn it off, same thing. The only real way to deal with it is to restitch the whole damn thing." And he goes, "Loose threads bother you much?"
They do. What are you getting at?
I'm guessing by now you're starting to see a few through things that don't quite add up.
There's been a lot that hasn't added up lately.
And he goes, I think you're the only one out of the group that wasn't necessarily foretold to see what you've already seen, but you've proven sharper than the fates would have realized. I can't tell you much at this point, but you're on to something quite a bit deeper than what you and your friends think you are. Be careful that you pay close attention to what is and what isn't. He says, he says, other than that, how are you doing?
Other than that, I'm alive still.
Heard you've been making a bit of a reputation for yourself.
A little bit. Someone
Uh,
has to keep up the pirate side of the group.
And he kind of chuckles at it. He says you're right in the middle of a lot of things that don't. He says you're right in the middle of a lot of things that should never have that should have never crossed paths, but somehow did. He says, I'm just hoping you're dealing with it okay. You seem to be rising to the.
Let's say certain events have made certain changes that got to pay more attention now, especially to the little things.
He says that's a good attitude to have. Pay attention to everything around you. Absorb it. Learn from it. Try to reason it out. You're onto something. And if everything works out, if you and all of those that work with you are able to come to a successful point, well, that'll open up an opportunity. Tell your Commodore Zai that if you get through all of this, if we all get through all of this, we'll go fishing someday. And he says, and he kind of stands up, like taps out his pipe on the crate, you know, takes a drink from a flask, pulls a flask out, takes a drink from it, and he goes, "Oh, and you probably haven't seen either of them, and probably haven't seen uh, your favorite brewers in some time. So have this." And he hands you a and he puts the cap on the flask and hands it to you. Got things to be doing, places to be going. He goes, I'll be seeing you around.
You
And he kind of walks off.
and thanks for the blue grog.
Actually, that's exactly what it is. you you open it up, you smell it. That's exactly what's in there.
Yep. She takes a slight swig from it, closes it back up, and thinks to herself, now I have a spy to break. This is going to be fun. Yeah, and she walks back to the ship.
Yeah, there's the yeah, and I think this is probably where we'll leave off at. Leave you guys wondering what the fuck Chunderbucket Charlie was talking about, and maybe maybe the very scene is like on the ship, like we see portals on the Blue Ember. We see portals opening up, and we see what look like troopers in the blackest of black armor like flooding out into the corridors. And we start hearing like radio chatter. We don't see any of the crew, but we start hearing radio chatter from various crew members that apparently these breaches are happening all over and that there's stuff going on. And that there's engagements and fighting going on in various places, and then we cut out, and that brings us to about 10:23, and I think we're probably good with that. So I think let's go ahead and start doing sign-offs, and everybody send me your player choice awards, and we'll start with Xander.
Sorry, I was contemplating. Okay, Scott playing Xander, and yeah, I don't know what to say about Xander. He wants to get to the library. That's all that matters.
He's getting closer.
Yeah. Um. Okay. Today's Monday, so Wednesday we got Hench and Mensch with Knight, where I don't know. We're back on Earth, and he's happy, and now he's going to spend the next week being invisible because he had to spend so much time in space where everybody could see him. So, any business that any of y'all, Acer and them, have with Knight, you can do it to Invisible Knight. Deal with it. Okay. So, then we have this every other Thursday things with the Fast Car Clear Gems, where I play Mikey, where I got a bunch of information on everybody, and I'm keeping it to myself, so deal with it. That's not this Thursday. It's the next.
No.
No, that's next Thursday. This
Yeah.
Thursday is gonna be Severovo.
That's what I thought. So that'll be next Thursday, not 3 or 4 days from now. Okay. Okay. Then we have the Ballad of the Menagerie, which was mentioned tonight, but they didn't say who the captain was, and that is Captain Jess, and that's who I get to play. I have no idea. She's trying to get people to do negotiating trades and all this other stuff with crime lords, and I don't know. It's a lot. We got new people in there. We got this one weird dude come in. We got a new person to play. And we almost shot him in the face because he decided to randomly show up in the cargo hold, and I almost shot him in the face.
To
On
be
my
fair, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I don't know. He randomly showed up on my ship. It's not my fault that the world's little metric system messed up and shoved our ships together through some anomaly. All right. That was Friday. Saturday, we got Bitter Ends, which is the Apocalypse world where I play Castiel, Daddy Castiel, which is this Saturday. I remember that much. And we'll see if Greasy's sticking to his mission to not drink for 2 days. Yeah.
He might.
Hopefully. Okay. Then on Sunday, I play Figara in Cosmos, where he's built a garden, then went out and shot a bunch of ghosts. Gassed, or I don't know. He shot a bunch of people with his arrows. That was kind of fun. And then, we're back to Monday. Hey, look at that. We got through the whole week. That's everything.
All right. Send me your Player's Choice Award vote, and we'll send this one. Amy?
Everybody stop talking for a second. It was crazy. I didn't hear anything. I saw your mouth move, and I thought you said Vesa, and I was like, but is he speaking? I don't know. I'm sorry. It's bad internet. It's all me. Hi, I'm Amy Geddon. Tonight I played Vesa. I had a run-in with my dad. Fuck that guy. He's a piece of shit. I'm my own goddamn woman, and I'm a grown-ass adult, motherfuckers! And now he's gonna ruin my goddamn life because he's a fucking asshole. It's fine. Everything's fine. We're fine. It's fine. Anyway, On Saturdays, I am also in the bitter ends. I play Mama Starlight Fingertoes, and she's a mechanic who picks up things with her toes. She do that though. Um, Not often, but she do, and she walks around without shoes on because you got to be dexterous with those toe fingers. Um, she has boots, but she doesn't use them. And let's see here. And then on Sundays, I am two characters in Cosmos, but I haven't been there the last 2 weeks because I had to work and life got in the way, and that sucks. And it's just I love Sundays. But I play an elf duskwalker named Stella Nightshade. She is adorable, has a fiery hot girlfriend, and I also play Leto the Barbarian Orc. She doesn't talk a lot, but she's a big tank, and I like her a whole lot. And when I'm not doing these things, I am creating fucking nerdy ass shit on my Etsy, and you can find me. It's Nerd Art by Amy. Amy spelled Amie. Buy my shit. It's cool shit. I like it a whole lot. That's me.
Alrighty. Let's go to Twinkle.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Cyrus Smith. Today you caught me playing Twinkle Bailey, the isekai who has absolutely no clue what he's doing as an ambassador, but that's okay. You can also find me on Wednesdays playing Acer the Telepathic Sniper, who is about ready to turn this town upside down to get some answers. You can also find me on Thursday, where I am this week playing Anatoly Bashenko, the very confused, very scared, and slightly crazy not Russian, because none of us know what we really are. Anyways, you can also find me on Sunday, running Tales from the Cosmos as the DM of that. And yeah, you should just enough said. If you were there last week, you know what we did. So you should come watch the rest of that. That's me.
Alrighty. Alright, then let's go to Shaba.
Yeah, I'm Brian. I played Shaba Young tonight. There was a flogging to be happened, and it went down, and the people were disappointed. Shaba's moving up a bit in the world of Rock. This should be interesting. Never been invited to an actual council meeting before. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes down. Plus, I gotta spy the break. It's not if, it's when. Because she's going to break her. If she learned anything, Werner von Talent taught her how to do experiments. Also, you can find me on Sundays playing in Cosmos. Geez, I forget my little kobold's name, but it's little blue cobalt.
Vroklana.
She's a witch. Oh, right, Vraklana. She's a cute little thing. Has a little thorny devil. Has a cauldron with legs that walks behind her. And she's in one city, and I might have a character for up in the other area we're going to be at, but I haven't come up with a name for it. So when I do, that'll be said on Sunday. And this Tuesday, tomorrow, will be session 0 of the newest game that I will be running, Numenera. It's a interesting setting, 1 billion years in Earth's future after the 8th apocalypse. Yes, the cockroaches are next door selling trinkets to people. And yeah, little cockroach babies running around. Only thing is none of us who are playing, and I actually have 4 people, none of us are set up for OBS. So tomorrow will not be streamed, but I'm going to be picking an admin, one of you guys, head to get my OBS up to date and set up sometime through the week. So I can then eventually be able to stream if needed. That's going to be fun.
Awesome.
So yeah, that's it for me.
Alrighty. Let's see. Oh, never mind. There we go. Wow. Outlier. Nice. All right. So that moves us on to Commodore.
Hi, I'm the Commodore. I played Zai tonight, and even though I tried really, really hard to not have anything crazy go down at the moment, it still went down anyway. Ah, and now there are robot dragons. But I'm okay with that. I'm sure I can make that into a really cool chair when we're done. Um,
I'll save a
and
head for you, Commodore.
uh, man, you saw me too. I'm gonna be trying to take my own head. There can be only one. Ah, so anyway, past that, besides playing Captain's Eye on Monday nights, I also played Lemmy Pop Stardust, who runs around the apocalypse. And last week spent all his cash to make sure his friends had a good time, um, and kept someone from drinking. We'll see what happens this week. It should be a lot of fun. Um, yeah, that's really all I do right now. So,
Yeah.
with that in mind, my friend Purple Codex and my friend Amy Geddon both have T Publics and sell cool shit, and you should check it out. It's cool, it's epic, it's awesome, but it does lack some ethics. I mean, 50 cents a shirt. Wow. Um, and with that said, if someone would,
Yar! Have you been plundering the high seas? Do you find yourself skirting away from the Navy with all of their mamby-pamby ethics? Would you like to find loot that happens to be epic? Well, come on down because Captain Sharky is more than happy to tell you about Purple Codex and Amy Geddon merchandise on
Oh
T
boy.
Public. And on top of that, Amy Geddon even has a Etsy shop. Yar, I don't know what either of those are, but I hope they're located in Barbarossa, the port of the pirates. Yar!
It's Nerd Art by Amy. It's Nerd Art
and
by
on the
Amy.
Purple Codex.
So fuck. Okay. Yeah, so this is me. I had a bit of a thing. Okay, so earlier when I said I had to go AFK, right?
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So I had my headsets, so I had it unplugged and I'm listening to you guys and I'm like, you know what? It's not my turn yet. I guess I can start gathering laundry because I'm going to go stay at Eldon's tonight and I got to do laundry. And I'm like, okay. So I was gathering laundry and I'm like, you know what? I should wash my mask. And I was like, yeah, I should wash my mask. And so I went to my vest, my Walmart vest to get my mask out. And I didn't get my mask out. I found that last night when I got off work at 11 p.m., I took the cosmetics keys home and they didn't go off at the door.
Oh, that's not good.
So I
Oh
said I
no.
had to go AFK and I literally drove up there as fast as I could, dropped them off, and came back.
Oh Lord.
Oh no.
So, they were grateful, but I might have
I
to talk to
imagine.
my manager tomorrow. So,
Well,
or Wednesday when I get back. Yeah, so that was fun and stressful.
I
Yeah, that sucked. 'Cause I was like, fuck. But I don't remember getting a call or anything, so I don't know what they thought happened to him. You know.
That sounds normal. Anyway,
Anyway, so that happened. Um, I'm kind of excited about getting into this whole Cordrum thing again, but I'm really, really, really worried I don't want to die again. So I don't know how I'm gonna approach this, but we'll figure it out. So I'm kind of excited about that. But let's see. I have been streaming. Uh, so yay for that. Finally, oh, got off my
I'll stop
ass and
that.
decided to start screaming again, streaming again. Ah,
I scream all the time.
I know.
Well, you were screaming earlier today, so
That's
Yeah.
true. I was pissed off. Well, I was playing Black Desert Online, and these two people who were other players kept coming by and just killing me for no reason. They just kept killing me, and I'm trying to get to the end of this fucking quest, and I can't get there because these people are just hiding and then jumping out and killing me and then leaving. And I'm like, what the fuck? It
Welcome to
pit.
online games.
I fucking was so
Yeah.
mad. Brian heard the whole thing. I was so pissed.
She was.
I was livid. I was like, fuck this shit. Like, whatever. But I did come through and I was like, that's a dick move. Who does that? And then I remembered that I used to do that in Diablo. I used
Yes.
to get all the newbies in there and take their ears and challenge them to fights, and just, I was an asshole. And I was like, yep, I had this coming.
That's karma.
Karma, bitch. I was like, fuck.
Fucking karma.
Yeah.
She
So that
comes
was
home to
fun.
roost all the time.
That was my whole ass day. I was like, what the fuck? But anyway, yeah, so I'll probably be streaming. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna still stream Apex here and there because I play Apex with Reaper a lot. But I will. I can't stop yawning. I will be streaming more BDO, and I will obviously still be streaming this on Monday nights. And I don't know if a new game comes out. We'll see. I did. So Fallout 4, when you play Fallout 4, you can choose the faction or whatever you want to call it, and it's a totally different storyline, correct? Like I've had them all except for the railroad. I didn't want anything to do with the railroad, but I did, and it was a completely different story, and it was kind of cool. So I thought that's what Cyberpunk was gonna be. So I beat the
Hmm.
game, and then I tried Nomad. And the first start of it's a little bit different, but then I jumped right back in where I was with the other character, and I was like, "Fuck this!" So I'm gonna choose corporate. So I chose
Yeah.
corporate. Same thing happened. I was pissed. I was like, "You know what? I
Yeah.
I'm mad. This should be a
Yeah.
different, totally different whole game with different. Like I swear to God, Cyberpunk."
Yeah.
I was so
Fucking
angry.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Us,
Yeah.
so yeah,
Cyberpunk. You had one impossible job, and
one. I just, if you're gonna give options to be this, or this, make them all different. This is not hard, Project Red. Come on. Anyway, I'm sorry. That's my rant. I'm good. That's all I have to say.
If you'd like to spend another 8 hours on stream with us, we can talk about all the problems we're having.
right? Why
Ah,
don't? Well,
God.
then it goes to Burn Ward.
All right, I'm going to make this a quick little outro. Hello, everybody. This is Mike, also known as Win 5, Get 1 Free, and you've caught me today playing Paralector, or maybe ex-Paralector Burn Ward. Well, now it definitely is ex-Paralector Burn Ward, but man, he's already putting that shit in jeopardy. You can catch me on Thursdays, where I alternate between running the games Project Severovo. We're back, baby, and this is the last time I'm actually going to say we're back, baby, because this Thursday, I don't care if I die, I'm still running that fucking game. And every other week, you can catch me on Fast Cars, Clear Gyms, where shit is
Die.
getting way more complicated than I think the party expected. And it's only going to get even more complicated because
Yeah.
they all have theories. And I'm not going to say the theories are wrong, but no one's theory is right quite yet. So, yeah, you can also catch me every other Saturday. I will not actually be able to be there this Saturday. I have a wedding to go to. But generally, you can catch me every other Saturday at the Bitter Ends, the Wave World sessions, where I play Greasy, radio DJ of KRUST 6.66, The Crust, the hottest shit that floated to the top of the bathtub. Who's just a
Ugh.
fucking loser, the king of the losers, and now he's got a loser entourage full of losers. If you are currently watching on YouTube, you want to catch this shit live and have a wonderful time interacting with us on the screen, you can go to twitch.tv/pair_o_dice_theater. If you are currently watching on Twitch and you want to check us out on YouTube, leave us some comments in an area that we are more likely to reliably check. I promise I'm watching the stream chat, but we just don't have a very active stream chat. If y'all just want to say, hey, I like peanut butter sandwiches, or I like Nutella sandwiches, I'll fucking take that at this point, to be honest. But also comment on our YouTube shit, because definitely we're going to respond to that 100% of the time ASAP. I read everything that y'all post to me in a permanent form, including on the Twitter, which happens to be at Pair Theater, where we do the fast, hot, sexy world of scheduling. We also happen to do a lot of community interactions lately. I've been talking with a lot of people and giving feedback on art and also giving feedback on what we do and don't like, at least I personally do and don't like, in tabletop games when people ask the questions. So about the engagement, baby. And also, from time to time, I'm known to post one or two hot memes. But yeah, check out the music that I've been making at SoundCloud, Michael Burley, Burley. I've got one track out, still working on many other tracks. Got a lot of collabs potentially coming up in the future. I had a great networking event that I went to recently. But yeah, all that shit is like all together. So yeah, just check us all out, and I think that's my outro.
All right. Well, that brings us back to me, and we'll get the bookkeeping out of the way first. Everybody gets 2,000 experience points for tonight. Also, tonight still ended up being a tie on the Player's Choice Award. Vesa and Twinkle tied it out. So why don't each of you give yourselves
High five, Amy.
700 experience points
Wow.
for each of you. So
I don't know what I
you
did.
guys are higher level. It takes a little bit more to move the meter. So
Did you
all right.
700?
Hmm?
You said
So
700?
you and Twinkle will have 2,700 extra XP points. Or no, 2,700 XP points for this session total.
So 2,700 total.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No, just
Yes.
2,000 for everybody but Vesa and Twinkle. Twinkle and
That's-
Vesa both get 2,000.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
get 2,700 total.
Yep,
That's what we
exactly.
was saying.
That's what he said.
Okay. All right. Maybe it's just my audio. I misunderstood
Jesus,
that.
Jessa.
Hey. Hey now.
Hey
hearing,
now.
hearing is hard.
You're an all-star.
Fact.
Hey now.
Anyway,
I am an all-star. I star in almost everything. So,
Oh god.
so with that said, I am the Just a King Zerat. You can catch me here on Monday nights for the Fire Strike, or my favorite group of space terrorists, space pirates, and everybody else. You can catch me here every other Thursday night for Fast Cars Clear Gems, where I play con whose motto is never commit a crime that you don't intend to frame somebody else for. Or you can catch me here on Friday nights for the Ballad of the Menagerie, which does exist, in fact, in the same time, in the same continuity as the Fire Strike. It's a Shrike verse. And you can also catch me every other Saturday, including this Saturday, for the Bitter Ends, the Wave World sessions, our flooded apocalypse. And you can catch me probably next weekend. I will be starting in Tales from the Cosmos, and still gonna keep you on hooks about what I'm gonna play. You're just gonna have to tune in to find out. And with that said, I believe that's all we have for tonight. Let's get an RIP Fern and get out of here. RIP
R.I.P. Fern.